নমস্কার, দেখছেন নিউজ 18 বাংলা। আপনাদের সঙ্গে রয়েছি আমি পায়েল। আইসিএসসি ক্লাসরুম ক্লাস 3 থেকে ক্লাস 8 পড়ুয়াদের জন্য, কারণ বাড়িতে বসেই যাতে সিলেবাস তোমরা চটপট শেষ করতে পারো, বলা ভালো যে ক্লাসরুমের ফিল একেবারে টিভির পর্দায়। আর তাই আমাদের আইসিএসসি ক্লাসরুম। আর আজও আমাদের সঙ্গে ম্যামরা রয়েছে, তবে আজ আমরা পড়বো ইংলিশ নিয়ে। আর আজকে আমাদের পড়ানোর জন্য আমাদের সঙ্গে রয়েছেন ইন্দ্রাণী মিত্র, লা মার্টিনিয়ার ফর গার্লস প্রাইমারি ইংলিশ আমাদেরকে পড়াবেন। ম্যাম ওয়েলকাম, আপনাকে জানাচ্ছি আমাদের নিউজ 18 বাংলা স্টুডিও। আর অপরদিকে আপার প্রাইমারি ইংলিশও পড়বো, তার জন্য আমাদের সঙ্গে রয়েছেন ম্যাম মালবিকা এস পোদ্দার, সাউথ সিটি ইন্টারন্যাশনাল স্কুলের। ম্যাম আপনাকেও স্বাগত জানাচ্ছি। আমরা আমাদের ক্লাস শুরু করব, তবে তার আগে ভিডিও বার্তা কার? সিআইএসসিইর চিফ এক্সিকিউটিভ অ্যান্ড সেক্রেটারি জেরি আরাথুনের ভিডিও বার্তা তোমাদের জন্য, দেখে নেওয়া যাক।
As we are all aware, schools are shut and no classes are being held due to the lockdown. The Council has taken the initiative to conduct live lessons on News 18 Bangla channel for the subjects English and Mathematics for junior and middle school children from classes 3 to 8. These live lessons are being conducted by the Council's subject experts. The objectives for conducting these live lessons are to present selective elements of these two core subjects, English and Mathematics, to develop an interest in these subjects through simple games and activities, so that children are able to relate and apply learned concepts to real life situations. I request all children of our council schools to participate actively in this program, stay in touch with your studies, and continue to learn through these live lessons.
আর এবার শুরু করা যাক আমাদের ক্লাসরুম। প্রথমে আমরা পড়ব প্রাইমারি ইংলিশ। ম্যাম।
A very good morning to all of you. Once again, I hope you're all keeping well, staying at home and safe. But things are somewhat topsy-turvy now, aren't they? Being at home, classes from home, classes on Sunday and on Saturday, not going out to play. Yes, there are so many things we take for granted. For example, some of us just take it for granted that we can't write. We can't put pen to paper, and especially stories. But believe you me, there is a writer in all of us. We can all tell stories, because as long as we can think, as long as we can feel, we can tell stories and we can write. Think about this. After school, when you go home and you tell your mother what happened in school, what are you doing? You are telling a story. When you visit a fascinating place or you've taken an exciting trip and you come back, what do? You tell your friends all about it. So what are you doing? You are telling a story. So telling stories is something, it is a part of our lives. As social beings, we tell stories all the time. So don't be afraid to tell your story. It's waiting to be told. Now, you see, in this lockdown, a lot of people are writing. I hope you are too. A lot of personalities, even famous personalities who do not really belong to the literary world, but they are writing. A lot of sports persons, other famous personalities, actors, they are all putting their thoughts to paper. In fact, recently I came across a book by Julie Andrews. It's called Homework, Memoirs of a Hollywood Actor. But do you know who Julie Andrews is? I'm sure she's a very talented actor of Mary Poppins, Sound of Music, and in the recent times, The Princess Diaries. She was the Queen of Genovia, remember? So, I've been writing a book. Of course, not that she's a stranger to writing, because she's written books for children. However, so I would like to talk more about writing stories, and today, therefore, my main topic would be picture composition. But before picture composition, let's do something different. Let us do something called acrostic associations. Now, while you are probably aware of this, and you've done it often, you've probably found this in greeting cards as well, but you may not have known that this is called acrostic associations. So what are acrostic associations? They are associations where you write meaningful words from a topic word. A topic word is given to you. You use each letter of the topic word to write some meaningful word relating to that topic word. For example, you see we have here friend. Friend is funny, real, interesting, entertaining, naughty, delightful. Can you describe your friend? You can take anyone, you can take any name, any word, and you can make an acrostic association with it. See what I have done. What you do is first write the word down vertically, and then against each letter write another word relating to the main word. Let's try one. Now, I have a friend named Ritika. So, I have chosen to use adjectives to describe Ritika. I have given an acrostic association with Ritika. So, I have described her as responsible, intelligent, talented, imaginative, kind, and adventurous. You see, the word Ritika has been used to make these acrostic associations. You can use it to describe yourself. You can write your name down and write adjectives to describe yourself or your friend or anyone else or anything else for that matter. But you can also take it further. You can do much more than this. Why just associations? You can actually write a poem, acrostic poem. Acrostic poem uses the letters in the topic not to write just a word but a line. Acrostic poems are actually very easy to write because you don't need to follow any rhyme scheme. You can rhyme. If you want to, you can rhyme. But you don't have to rhyme because it will sound just as good without the rhyme because of its acrostic quality. Therefore, the poem, we can say the poem is defined by its acrostic quality. Once again, I would like to show you one that I have done for you. Now, one of my favorite words is music. So, I have chosen the word music and I have made an acrostic poem with it, a simple one, so that you can understand. I'll just put up the poem and then we can read it together and tell me how it sounds. So, the poem is melodious and gentle it is, universal beyond time and age, soothing and comforting it sounds in times of grief and rage. Can you hear the music? Did you get the idea, children? Make poems, write poems, use your own words, your favorite words, and you can write beautiful acrostic poems. So I hope you have learned something today and you're going to try it out at home. So enjoy, have fun, write poems. But there is something more. As I told you today, our main topic is picture composition. Now, what is picture composition? A picture composition means you have to write meaningful sentences based on a picture or a set of pictures. You could be following a sequence or you could be taking just one picture and writing about it. But to write that, first you have to observe the picture, carefully observe the picture and then describe the picture or pictures in the form of a composition, or you could make a story with it. Asking to do this now, you have to ask the right questions. You must know what questions to ask to get your story. And you need to note down the answers of these questions. Once you've got your answers in place, then you arrange it in a logical order. put it in a logical order, and you have your story there. But that's not the end of it. You have to give it a suitable title. Remember, a story must appeal to the reader. So you have to give it a suitable title, a title which will make the reader want to read on. And thereafter, just a note, a word of caution you may say, just to remember that when you start a paragraph, when you start a paragraph, don't forget to start away from the margin. Alright? So, while planning the picture, we are going to, what kind of questions are you going to ask? You might wonder. First, introduce. How will you introduce the story? How will you introduce the picture? You have to describe the setting. Now, what questions will you ask when you want to describe the setting? You will ask, where does this, look at the picture and say, where does this take place? When does it take place? It may not be obvious in the picture, so you can make up your own. It might look like taking place on a hillside, on a sea beach, in a playground, in a library. You decide. It's your story, your words, your imagination. You have to color it with your own imagination. This is your story to color. When does it take place? Then you have to select who is the main character in this story. Who or what you think is the main character in this story. And what is the main character doing? Obviously, the character is doing something. If you've got a story, there's action. And which brings me on to the next point, which is purpose. What does the character want to do? Has she gone into the library to read a book? Is she on the sea beach playing with her friends? Is she trekking on the mountainside? Or is she climbing aboard a bus with all the other children? So what is your main character doing? And next action is what happened. Now remember, in a story something happens. Usually something happens and we call that a climax. Means when something happens and there's some danger or there's some problem or some difficulty arises. So there must be some action, otherwise where's the suspense in your story? After the action you come to the conclusion. Conclusion is what was the final outcome? The final outcome means how was the problem resolved? Was the problem resolved? What happened? How did it happen? That is your conclusion. But remember, along with the conclusion and the rest of the body, you must give the emotions. You must intersperse your words with emotions, the emotions of the main character. What or how is he or she or they feeling while the action goes along? After this, of course, I'd like to move on to the next part of it, where I think we should take an example, right? We would like to take an example, and I'll give you a picture. With the help of this picture, perhaps we can actually write a story. Yes? Look at this picture carefully. This picture, look at it. In the first part of the picture, you see a girl, a lady rather, pushing a pram. In the second part of the picture, in the second picture that is, there's a set of 4 pictures as you can see. It is there seems to be a little girl watching the pram, while the lady who was pushing the pram seems to be talking to someone else. And the pram seems to have begun moving on its own, unattended. In the third picture, the 2 ladies are running after the pram. Obviously, the pram has rolled away. And in the fourth picture, a man seems to have caught the pram at the nick of time and the danger is averted. That's your basic outline of the story. So we can continue with this. In the meantime,
একেবারে ব্রেকের পর ফিরলাম আইসিএসসি ক্লাসরুমে। বাড়িতে বসে বোর না হয়, বরঞ্চ ফান ওয়েতে কিভাবে স্টোরি লেখা যায় তাই শিখছি। ম্যাম রয়েছেন আমাদের সঙ্গে, তাহলে আবার ম্যামের কাছে চলে যাওয়া যাক। ম্যাম,
all right. So you can see the pictures. Now I have deliberately chosen a black and white picture, or set of pictures rather, because I wanted to show you that literally and figuratively these pictures are black and white. Literally, of course, you can see there's no color in them, but figuratively I say because you have to color it with your words and your imagination. So let us go ahead and color this. create our story. In the first picture, what questions are we going to ask? We are going to ask the question, when does this take place? We could say a Sunday morning, but are you going to say just Sunday morning? No, you're going to put words, you're going to describe the Sunday, you're going to say it's a bright and beautiful Sunday morning. Where does it take place? It could be in the park. Now it could be any other day. This is my story, it's Sunday morning. In your story, it could be a Monday evening. It doesn't matter, it's your story. I think it's taking place in the park. Now when you say park, are you going to just say park? No, describe the park. Say whether there were people there, whether the sky was clear, whether the birds were chirping, whether it was a wonderful morning. So we know that it is on a Sunday morning in the park. And who is the main character? The main character is a lady. But why just a lady? We are going to give the lady a name. We have to fill in the specifics, the details. That's what's going to color our story. The little details that we are going to fill in. So let's name the lady Shaila. And what is Shaila doing? She is pushing the pram, strolling down the park. Now look at the next. So that is our setting. We've got the setting. What is happening and where it's happening and when it's happening. Look at the second picture. The second picture seems to show that Shaila, it appears that Shaila is talking to someone. Now it could be a stranger, an acquaintance or a well-known friend. Once again, it's your story. In my story, it's a friend. She's talking to a friend, but she seems to have left the pram unattended. She has forgotten about the pram, it seems. And the pram is rolling away. A little girl sees the pram and she's shocked to see a pram unattended. So could be that she cries out for help. She calls to Shaila. And that's how you're going to color your story. Now we've got the first two paragraphs ready. Shall we just have a look at how we are writing the first two paragraphs? So the first two paragraphs could be, it was a bright and beautiful morning. The sky was clear and the birds were chirping merrily. Shaila was strolling in the park with her little child tucked into a pram. Many people had come out to enjoy the sun. Shaila ambled down the park, humming to herself. Suddenly, she heard her name being called out by a very familiar voice. It was her dear friend, Natasha, who had been away for a while. Delighted, she turned round to speak with her. But in her excitement, she forgot to put down the brakes of the pram. Now, two things to observe here. Apart from the adjectives that have been added, you have seen emotions have been added. Humming to herself, it suggests she's happy. And delighted, which shows she's happy to meet her friend. She's overjoyed to see her friend after a long time. And her excitement, she's excited. So we have added emotions to it. But there is something else. At the end of it, you have left the reader with a little bit of suspense. What is the suspense? She forgot to put down the brakes of the pram. What will happen? Something will happen because of it. Let's go back to the picture, shall we? So in the picture, what do we see in the third picture? That the pram is rolling away. It seems to be far away and Shaila seems to be running from far away. And they both seem to be panicking. There seems to be panic, alarm, surprise, shock. You can see all these pictures if you look carefully into it, observe carefully and ask the right questions. And then what happens? Maybe the pram was about to topple over. Maybe the pram was about to hit against a tree. Anything could have been happening there. We don't know, so it's your story. You go along with it. But we see a man coming at the nick of time to save the pram. Catch hold of the pram and save it from toppling over and averting any accident that was about to happen. So that will be the next part of our story. Shall we write it now? So the next part of our story is, as the path was downhill, the pram started rolling down. Luckily, Tanya, a little girl playing in the park, saw it and started shouting for help. Meanwhile, the baby had started crying. Hearing the cries, Shaila turned round and her heart skipped a beat. The baby was far ahead. Shaila ran as fast as she could, ashamed that she had not been more responsible. Fortunately, just as the pram was about to topple over, a passerby rushed forward and caught it. Shaila sighed with relief and thanked the kind man for saving the day. So that is our story, where we see that there is emotion, there's a bit of drama also, there's suspense, there's excitement, and there is a happy ending. So we can always have a nice happy ending if you choose. But tell me something. This is just once again, let me remind you one thing. This is just a guideline. These are guidelines to tell you, because I often find that children are very confused when they look at a picture. They don't know where to start, how to write, what to include in the picture while describing the picture or writing a story about it. So this was just a guideline for those who feel confused. Remember, once again, at the risk of repeating myself, this is your story. And it is for you to color it with your imagination. Now, I have given you merely a guideline with some ideas, simple ideas that I have put forward. But you can put your own ideas. All right, so there we have our story. Do you think we've forgotten anything? Have we forgotten anything in this story? No? Let's check. Yes, we have missed out the title. We forgot to write a title to the story. So how about an accident in the park? You could write a narrow escape. So keep writing. What's your story? Your story is waiting to be told. Alright, so I hope you will continue writing. But today, we will keep writing stories, and you will write lots of stories because you are waiting to tell your story. But let's do a little bit of vocabulary before we wind up today. I'm sure you enjoy doing vocabulary. Now, compound words. Now, these are words you know are combination of two words like bedtime, blackboard, easygoing. These you know, but what are portmanteau words? Portmanteau words are actually words combination where one part of one word is taken with another part of another word. So let us look at some portmanteau words like Pokemon. Do you know that? Did you know that Pokemon was a portmanteau word? It's pocket plus monster. Podcast, iPod plus broadcast. You've heard of internet. What is internet? International plus network. There you have brunch, you have Brexit, you have Cineplex. You can try some other words like smog, spock, telethon, netizen, motel, infotainment. But the interesting thing is portmanteau actually is a French word which means a bag which can be opened on both sides. It came to be meaning these words when Lewis Carroll used it in a book called Through the Looking Glass. You know Alice in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass? Well, in Through the Looking Glass, Humpty Dumpty was explaining to Alice how the word mimsy was formed. And then he used this word portmanteau. That's where it came from. But before I end today, once again children, I would like to show you the sites from where books can be downloaded free. I hope you are reading. Please go ahead, read from there, especially for those who like to listen. There's a site called Audible where many famous personalities have read out the books. So please do go ahead, enjoy writing, enjoy reading, and have a good day.
একেবারে প্রাইমারি ইংলিশ তো আমাদের শেখা হলো, এবার আপার প্রাইমারি ইংলিশ আমরা শিখব, তবে একটা শর্ট ব্রেকের পর সঙ্গে থাকো।
मैडम ये तो जादू की छड़ी है।
इसलिए अपने फैब्रिकेटर को बोलिए कि ग्रिल बनाए तो
सिर्फ SRMB रियल स्टील से।
ব্রেকের পর ফিরলাম আইসিএসসি ক্লাসরুমে। আর এবার আপার প্রাইমারি ইংলিশে কিভাবে রাইটিং স্কিল ইমপ্রুভ করা যায় তাই জানবো। আমাদের সঙ্গে রয়েছেন ম্যাম মালবিকা। ম্যাম প্লিজ।
Good morning viewers. and my dear students of class 6, 7 and 8. So here I am back again in front of you to have an interactive and informative and educative session regarding the 4 skills required to teach a language: listening, speaking, reading and writing. But today I will be emphasizing more on writing skills. But I would like to remind you that no skill can be learnt in isolation. You need to combine them, assimilate them if you wish to learn a language correctly and properly. So let us see what lies ahead of us today. What a beautiful quotation. Fill your paper with the breathings of your heart. What does this tell you actually? In essence, it tells us that with time and effort, we can all evolve into good wordsmiths. What is a wordsmith? You've heard about a goldsmith, a blacksmith. A wordsmith is a juggler of words who has expertise in words. When he writes sentences, he breathes life into them and brings it alive. You know, students, words by themselves are mere words. They are nothing. Unless and until you string them together effectively, and then it becomes powerful, potent, lethal in your hands, just like you wield a weapon. But unfortunately, there are so many misconceptions about writing. There are so many excuses that people give, and it is not only you students, even elders, and I'll share them with you. Nobody would read what I write, ma'am, then why should I start writing? Ideas don't come to me, I am not inspired. My writing is so poor. I do not want to be a writer, I just want to score marks. And the most common excuse is, I have no time to write. So these are just excuses not to write. But I can tell you that writing is an essential life skill because it is a powerful mode of communication, not only on a one-to-one basis, but with the wider audience. So what does writing skill teach us? Let us have a quick look. Writing gives clarity. When you have an English language class, a composition class, the teacher comes and discusses a particular topic. And then she tells you to jot down the points or make a mind map. And after that, you are told to make an introductory paragraph, a body, and then a proper conclusion where you round up the entire essay. Why are so many segments there? Why are you told to write this? Because to organize your matter so that your thoughts, it shows clarity. The second thing that writing tells us is it helps us to connect with our own selves. Yes, it does. You know, the very famous writer J.K. Rowling, a master storyteller, and she's a writer of the Harry Potter series. She based the characters of Professor Snape and Professor Dumbledore, the principal of Hogwarts, on her own teachers. And she created the horrific characters of the Dementors when she was going through a very depressive phase. She had lost her mother, she had no money, but still she persisted. She continued to write, and the rest, as they say, is history. And writing is definitely a creation. We create something out of nothing, like a conjurer takes out a rabbit from a hat. So similarly like that, out of just mere words in front of you, you create something very unique. Writing is an expression which helps us to connect with others. Definitely. Why do we read stories, children? Novels? Why do we reread stories? I'll give you the example of Kabuliwala. It was written years ago, but till now when you read about the Kabuliwala or Mini or Mini's father, you still feel the tears stinging your eyes because you can feel the emotions that the characters were going through. So this is how you connect with a broader or a wider audience. And last of all, writing brings about change in society. Absolutely right. Yes, it shows us how to look at life, about people, about situations in a different perspective. It brings revolution in society. I'll give you an example. I have received so many emails from you from our last session last Sunday, where students have sent in beautiful elf chants and they have written about the lockdown period. And when we are talking about the lockdown period, I will come back to you shortly.
একেবারে আমরা ম্যামের কাছে আবারও যাব, তবে একটা শর্ট ব্রেক নেওয়ার সময় হয়ে গিয়েছে, তাই ফিরছি, ব্রেকের পর সঙ্গে থাকো।
मैडम ये तो जादू की छड़ी है।
इसलिए अपने फैब्रिकेटर को बोलिए कि ग्रिल बनाए तो
सिर्फ एसआर इंपीरियल स्टील से।
ব্রেকের পর ফিরলাম আইসিএসসি ক্লাসরুমে, আর টাইম ওয়েস্ট না করে সরাসরি চলে যাব ম্যামের কাছে, মালবিকা ম্যামের কাছে। ম্যাম,
So as I was saying that I have received a lot of elf chants that the students have sent to me, and they are all written on the lockdown. The kinds of words that have been used: social distancing, self-isolation, COVID-19. We couldn't have thought about using these words even 6 months back. They were non-existent. But today we are using them and we are writing them down. So don't you think writing brings about so much of change in society? So my advice to you, student, is the little pen is actually a weapon. It is mightier than a sword, and you give it your best shot. Unless and until you open the tap or the faucet, you turn on the faucet and tap, then only you will know whether the water will flow or not. But otherwise, you wouldn't. Similarly, if you do not write that first word or the first sentence and you jot it down, you wouldn't know where the journey is going to take you. But before we proceed, I would like to say that writing is definitely an essential skill that needs to be practiced. And I'm going to share with you today a technique which is definitely going to help you to build up a strong vocabulary. Teasers. What are teasers? They are basically clues. They are basically hint. They don't tell you anything, but they don't reveal what is going to happen, but they just give you a clue. Learners today, leaders tomorrow. Can you see the sentences on the screen? Touching lives forever. The bookworm's corner. What are they? They are captions or headings. What is a heading? It is the first impression that a reader or the audience has. It is actually catchwords or memorable phrases put together. It should be attractive. But why do we need a caption or a heading? Because in your language class, when you are taught to write a short story, the first thing the teacher tells you, you must write a short, crisp, attractive and meaningful heading. When you are learning how to write a notice, the first thing that you are taught is how to write a creative heading, a splash of colors. Now there must be some rules to it. Now, what are the little tips or the rules that we need to follow to write a very attractive caption? Keep it simple. It should not be more than one sentence. Yes, add humor. Don't make it into a joke. The fourth one is give information to the readers, but without stating the obvious. Means you don't give away, but keep something back. I will discuss this a little later. Let us come to the last one. Consider linking a well-known expression, a proverb or a word. And I'll share with you the Time magazine. You know what is the tagline they use? Understanding comes with time. Wow. The word time has been used to show or to convey a message that time and tide waits for no man. Time can be seen through different perspective. So these are the little tips that I have given you how to make your captions or your heading very attractive and simple. Now let's play a game which I called A Picture Speaks 1,000 Words. Let us see. We have 3 pictures in front of us. Yes? The first one is a volcano. Now what is a volcano? It is a geographical phenomenon. It is spewing lava and fume, as if nature is very angry. Do you see any letter in any one of these pictures? There is not a single word. So if I ask you to put a caption to it, what would you say? Hot volcano? No. Angry volcano? No. What can you do to make it sound very attractive? You can say smoldering splendor. Why smoldering? The word smoldering is associated with fire, with heat. Or you can say nature's fury. Look at the second photograph. Can you see? It is a forest or a wood. Now what would you term it as? The warm wood, the lonely wood, the yellow wood? Why not make it a little better? Why don't we call it the flaming wood? Because it looks as if the wood is on fire. You see orange leaves everywhere. Or suppose if you can use it as a picture composition, if it is given to you, you can look at it in a different perspective and say a ray of hope as your heading. Why? Because this picture gives you warm, positive vibes. The third picture, you see a book. The book is open. So what is the title you can give to it? An open book? No, too prosaic, too direct. What does a book convey? Knowledge, timelessness. So why don't I write timeless classics? Or I can say it is a bookworm's or a book lover's haven. Yes, this is the time when I want you to have a thesaurus or a dictionary with you. I didn't say heaven or paradise. I meant haven. A place where you seek safety, refuge, comfort, solace. And this is a book where the book lover seeks his solace and comfort. So what a lovely heading you can give to a simple book. I have another picture of a desert. What is this desert? An uninhabited piece of land. Suppose you are a traveler and you have come back and you would like to write about your experience, a story about the desert or maybe a travelogue, and you are asked to give a title to it. What would you say? I know the most common thing will be Desert Tales or the Desert Saga. But you are giving it away. Why don't you make something a little more mysterious? Perhaps you can call it A Call of the Deserted Dunes. The desert is a deserted, desolate place, and the dunes are the sand dunes. So, the call of the deserted dunes. Isn't it lovely? There is another technique by which you can play in the house is take old newspaper clippings or photographs from old magazines or maybe your family album. Take out pictures where the expressions have been captured so beautifully by the camera. Events, get-togethers of your families. And why don't you write a caption for every photograph? And for that, you require the help of the dictionary also. And see, you will build up a formidable set of vocabulary which will be the envy of your classmates. The next is a verse which I would like to share with you. The colors of autumn, red, orange, yellow, purple, even a hint of green, nature's palette. The old crisp, crunchy leaves lay scattered like burnt ember. The leaves are falling, as if from far up, ready to join the mossy ground. You can taste the smell of autumn all around. Now, it is a verse, a poetry. There are different forms of poetry. There can be an ode, it can be a ballad, it can be a sonnet, it can be a cinquain, it can be a limerick, it can be a haiku. So what is this? This is a free verse, an ideal form of a poem for beginners who would love to begin, who would love to write. Because the beauty of free verse is there are no rules. It is loosely structured. It is characterized by irregular rhythm and rhyme. Even the length of the line, I'll go back to the poem, don't worry. Even the length of the lines, they are irregular. And you can use as many figures of speech or literary device you wish, like alliteration, personification, metaphor, simile. I'll share this with you. So let us go back to the poem. What are the colors that you see? Red, orange, yellow, purple, green. Nature's palette. The moment I use the word palette, I mean an artist, because the word palette is associated with an artist wielding a paintbrush and a palette where you mix the colors together. So is nature an artist? So I'm giving human attributes to nature. So it is personification, the first literary device that the poet has used here. Look at the second, that next two lines. Crisp, crunchy leaves lay scattered like burnt ember, like comparing to burnt ember. So it is a simile, a direct comparison. And what is ember? When you light fire, it doesn't die out immediately. It smolders. So ember is the smoldering fire, which is being compared to the yellow, brittle leaves. Let's come to the next verse. The leaves are falling, falling. Now we know the leaves are falling, but why is the poet repeating the word falling, falling? It is repetition, another literary device where the poet is emphasizing a point. What is the point? That leaves don't fall with a thud or a boom or a wham. Leaves fall like snowflakes gently from the top of the tree down to the mossy ground. The moss and the fern, they make the carpet in the wood. They are small, very tiny plants which grow in damp areas, even on tree trunks. And the last line is the most beautiful. You can taste the smell of autumn all around. Now think, tasting and smelling a season? Well, to quote John Keats, and since it is about autumn, autumn is the season of mist, of mellow fruitfulness. Autumn is a season of abundance, where you hear the twittering of birds, lambs bleating, and a riot of colors that you see on the trees, red, orange, yellow, purple, green. So therefore, you can experience a season by using your five senses: visual, auditory, gustatory, olfactory, tactile sense, and you can use it in your free verse. The free verse, students, I am emphasizing once again that it is a beautiful way for beginners to begin writing a poetry. So the two techniques, how to write a caption and how to write a poetry, is definitely going to help you polish and hone your writing skills. But do not forget the dictionary or the thesaurus. Now, all that we have spoken about, the writing, the speech skills, will be futile if you do not have a list of books that you would like to read. So this is a list of suggested reading. After nourishment, shelter, and companionship, stories are the things we need most in the world. So I have given you a list of books which do read, do not leave it midway. And I will also share with you, many of you wanted me to share this website. where you can download as many ebooks you want. So what is the last thing I wish to say to you students is read at leisure, read with pleasure. And writing, don't treat writing as a chore. Love it, respect it, and start writing now. This lockdown period is the best opportunity and time you will get to improve upon your writing skills, reading skills, and speech skills. So with this, I shall end this session and thank you very much.
একেবারে এই সময়টা একেবারে ইউটিলাইজ করার সময় পড়াশোনা লেখা কি করে ইমপ্রুভ করতে হয় তার জন্য অবশ্যই এই সময়টা কিন্তু ইউটিলাইজ করতে হয়। ম্যাম, আপনাদের দুজনকেই থ্যাংক ইউ সো মাচ আমাদের সঙ্গে এতক্ষণ থাকার জন্য এবং এত সুন্দর করে শেখানোর জন্য। তবে হ্যাঁ, এরপরও যদি তোমাদের কোনো রকমের ডাউট থাকে, কোনো কোশ্চেন থাকে, তোমরা কিন্তু মেল করতে পারো। মেলের জন্য আইডি বলে দিচ্ছি info@asiscwbc.org, support@asiscwbc.org। এখনকার মতো এখানেই শেষ করছি। টেক কেয়ার।
मैडम ये तो जादू की छड़ी है।
इसलिए अपने फैब्रिकेटर को बोलिए कि ग्रिल बनाए तो
सिर्फ SR Imperial स्टील से।